How does autism relate to traumatic brain injury? And what is brain injury? That's what we're going to talk about today. It's kind of a controversial subject, but I really want to get this information out there because I feel like people say autism. We don't know. Genetics, maybe this, maybe that. Vaccines are a big one, which I'm going to touch on, but this video is not going to be about how vaccines cause autism, because if you don't know my story, I have a daughter that had autism. We did recovery, but she was never vaccinated. She was not vaccinated. She still got autism. And so I believe that it's a brain injury connection, which is what we're going to talk about right now. So brain injury is anything that disrupts the brain. This can be from physical trauma, which is concussions, falls, being knocked on the head, etc., or from psychological trauma that alters the brain chemistry. You see, the brain sits in a fluid, and in the fluid, hormones and chemicals exist. They exist to affect and support the brain. If any of these hormones or chemicals are off, the brain will behave differently, and the person associated with the brain will behave differently. As far as autism goes, I believe that in many instances it is a brain injury, especially in regressive autism. Vaccines can cause inflammation, including that of the brain. And if you click below, I do have sources to all of these statements that I'm making. So I've written this out in a big blog post, which I will link to below, and you can click on the sources. And I sourced all this to peer-reviewed medical journals. This article is not going to go into the controversy surrounding vaccinations. If you'd like to know more, I'd encourage you to visit the truth about vaccines. In addition to vaccinations, the other factors that contribute to brain injury and brain inflammation and possible autism or other TBIs are injuries such as falls, violence against the child, accidental bumps, birth traumas, stress, environmental factors, pathogenic gut flora, preterm birth, and more. There's evidence that children with autism respond more severely to stress, physical or not, than neurotypical children. This increased stress can create a surge of stress hormones that, again, affect the brain and how it develops. And then this is just a note about autism. When I talk about autism, I'm talking about nonverbal children who scream, self-injure, are overwhelmed by everyday surroundings, and have a life-impacting sensory issues and a lower quality of life than we desire for our children. I'm not talking about high-functioning autism. I'm not talking about children with a high IQ, the ability to function well in society, and that will be able to live independently as adults. I'm talking about sick children and sick adults that want help. The other theory with the TBI and autism connection is that it's all anxiety. Another line of thinking is that mental disorders, including autism, are branches of a common anxiety problem. Fix the anxiety and repetitive behaviors such as OCD, aggression and disassociation, such as PTSD, apathy and wanting to escape, depression, or even overeating or undereating, eating disorders, all go away or are significantly reduced. As much as I've reference scientific journals in the writing below, it really is guesswork and a white coat. I'm writing this to inspire curiosity, understanding, validation, and hopefully some healing in many of our struggling population. The anxiety thing might be kind of the missing piece of the puzzle for you. Like, anxiety, I think, is the most common mental health condition in the US. So this is something that a lot of us are struggling with, and it might not be because we have a child with autism. It might be something that people were struggling with, and then it just kind of manifests more severely as autism in their child. I'm not sure if this is right or not. This is just an idea that I have heard that I'm presenting back to you just to kind of spark some curiosity, looking into what might be interesting for you to look into and to find some healing for your family.